Welcome once again, friends, to Church Unfiltered. I am your host, Dr. Anthony Cobbs. I want to dive right into today's episode because we have a special guest that I interviewed. I want you to hear how that interview went and the content from our guest on today. His name is Jeronelle Mcghee. He is a young singer making his way out in Hollywood. And why am I bringing this up on today? There are so many of us in our churches. We have young people who want to pursue careers that are in the secular world, if you will. And we want to make sure that we hear from people, from believers who are striving to make a difference, who are striving to pursue their dreams, their goals, but yet they are maintaining their integrity, yet they are maintaining their beliefs and standing on their belief systems. Jeronelle Mcghee is one of those individuals. He is a young man who toured with Kanye West and his Sunday service choir, and he has also competed on The Four, which is a music singing competition show. And I want you to hear from this young man and be blessed that at his testimony, his humility, and how he is staying focused in on the things that God would have him to do. Let's take a listen right now. Super talented, mega talented, and maybe we can get him to sing a line or two or whatever, so you all can just hear the silky smoothness of his voice. But I'm just excited to have you on here. Jeronelle, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Good to be here.
And it is good to have you on here. You're there in LA, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Inglewood.
everything is good. Everything is good out there for the most part, except for the obvious, right? How are you doing?
Yeah, just kicking it in the house. Either that or going to the studio. Other than that, just kicking it in the house, not doing a whole lot. Still trying to stay productive however I can. But yeah, just staying in the house, making sure everybody else in the family is staying inside too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mentioned to you before, man. I heard that snippet of one of your latest projects or latest pieces, man. And man, as they say, I don't know. I'm older. That's a banger. Is that? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Some say
I'm
it's a
going with
banger.
that.
Some say it's a
I'm
bop.
going with that.
Yeah.
It sounded really good, man. I'm like, oh, that's good right there, man. So I'm looking forward to some new music from you and everything. And when is some new music coming out?
We're aiming for sometime this summer. We're still in the recording process, so I would hope that by the end of this month, because we just started May, by the end of this month, hopefully everything will be mixed and mastered, and then we can just kind of go from there into dropping a single or two, and then hopefully by the thick of summer, the project will be either on its way out or fully out, and everybody can stream it as much as they can.
All right. Well, cool, man. Well, let me say this, man. I want us to get to know you a little better and everything. I want those who will listen, those who will view this, get to know you a little better. I know you. We're relatives, and I
Yeah.
tell people we're relatives, but I had nothing to do with your talent, though. I had nothing. I don't. That doesn't run in the family. Because I did not get a lick of being able to sing like that, man. But let's learn a little more about you. Tell us who you are, Jeronelle. Tell us who Jeronelle Mcghee is.
Yeah, born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha, Nebraska, man. We may need to
Yeah,
say that a few times during this interview.
yeah, Omaha, Nebraska. Yes, Black people do live there.
Right.
um, because I always have to tell people that because they give me that look like Nebraska. Yes, Omaha,
Omaha,
Nebraska, right
Nebraska.
smack dab in the middle of the map. But yeah, I'm an artist, creative, songwriter, background vocalist. Um, like I said, born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, but I've been out here in LA now for about it'll be 4 years in, wow. Why I just realized it'll be 4 years in about 14 days.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah, because I graduated in May of 2016 from Clark Atlanta University, and then I moved out here 2 days after graduation. So I was just like, all right, we're gonna make this music thing happen. Now that I got the degree, full steam ahead. And plus, my dad and his side of the family are out here, so I've been able to reconnect with them. and just continue to pursue what it is that I love to do.
All right, all right. So so tell us more about what do you like to do? What is it that you're pursuing specifically? I know I mentioned the music. This just elaborate on that. What is it that makes up Jeronelle and what you do?
Yeah. So I would say that I'm an artist, first and foremost, R&B artist, independent for now. But I also do a lot of background singing, session singing, um, and then I still work part time as well. A little fun fact about me: I work part time at a small church, just kind of helping them out with just little stuff like announcements or graphic design here and there.
Okay.
Also, still leading worship for some of their services every now and again. But yeah, just out here doing my thing.
All right, all right. And how long have you wanted to be a singer?
Let's see. I've been singing since the age of 3, and I knew it was always something that I had a desire to do.
Hmm.
It was always between that or being a professional wrestler, but physicality
Oh,
is
okay, okay.
not my strong suit. But
Professional
yeah, so
wrestler. Huh?
yeah. I'm still a big wrestling fan, but that was like my thing back in the day. Was like I wanted to be a big guy like The Rock or Stone Cold, one of those guys.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, so I've been pursuing it officially since sophomore year of college. So
okay.
it's been a couple years.
All right, cool, man. Cool. Yeah, definitely. As long as I remember, you have always been singing, man. Always been singing. So, and
Hmm.
you can tell that you work on your craft, man. You definitely are an incredible singer. So, definitely want to make sure that I throw that out there and just acknowledge that.
Thank
You are
you.
absolutely, your voice is one of my favorites, and have several young adults that I know that they say the same thing, man. They're like, man, that voice, and so just want to give you your props on that. You have an incredible voice. Um, I
I
want to ask
appreciate
you.
it.
Want to ask you? Oh, you're welcome. Another question. A lot of people who are just getting to know you, they are hearing that you're a singer, great singer, and everything like that. You even just recently were touring with Kanye and the choir
Hmm.
there. Tell us about that. Tell us about touring with Kanye.
Yeah, that's definitely, I would say, between that and competing on national television, and we can get into that a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're
Those
going
are
to get into
probably
that.
the two biggest highlights of my career thus far. Um, that opportunity came about actually last year around April. There was like an audition post made, and it circled around the singers community here in LA. And we didn't really know what the audition was for at the time. We just knew
Okay.
that they were looking for singers, and so a lot of us went out. We sang in small groups of like 5, 6 at a time, and then we got a call about a week or so later saying, we would like to officially welcome you guys on board to become new members of the Sunday Service Choir. Well, we call ourselves the Sunday Service Collective
Mhm.
because it's made up of all types of different creatives. Some who are professional solo artists in their own right, as well as professional background singers, creatives, people who really do it all out here.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
more of a collective, not just a typical choir.
Okay.
And so yeah, we just were in rehearsals with them for a good minute, and we officially came on board around June, July, and we've been rocking ever since. And it's been a fun, wild, fast-paced, crazy ride that I did not see coming, but I am
Mhm.
so very, very glad because it has allowed me to go places that I either never thought I would get to, or at least didn't think I'd be able to get to this early on in life.
Mhm.
Traveling internationally, going to Jamaica and Paris, being able to sing in different places like the Forum and the Hollywood Bowl. Um, Being able, we did we taped, who was it? One of these late night shows with James Corden. There we go. We taped James Corden literally flying in the air while singing, like things that, would just kind of leave you saying, what? I've been able to do those things all within the course of a year. And also just to see how it's not only impacted my life and the lives of all of us who are a part of the collective, but how it's impacted Kanye's life. I know he's had his moments in the past where people have kind of questioned things that he has said or done, but it's really, I think, between that and fatherhood made a really serious impact on his life, to the point where this is a thing that neither he nor us who are part of the collective really want to go without, because it's become such a powerful thing for us to be able to come together to sing and to celebrate and to worship, to cry, to travel, to laugh, to do all of these things. In an industry where you're used to competing and you're used to it being only spots for maybe one or two people. You're in a group of like 130 so people, and we're all able to exist in the same space and shine together.
Wow, man. Well, I had an opportunity to be able to see you in Houston, and I can't even describe the energy, energy that I felt. I mean, I was like, wow, this is incredible.
We still talk about it till this day.
Yeah,
till this day.
This is incredible. And so let me ask you this, because I know that, I mean, there are so many different people, as you said, that have different opinions and thoughts and all of that. And I truly admire, I mean, of course, don't agree with everything that Kanye has said and done and things like that, or whatever, but I just admire what I see. And when I was able to see it for myself, like, okay, wait a minute, this is like worship. I'm like, hold on, this is not about anything else. This
it really is
worship. And that just really blessed my spirit to be in the presence and just feel that. I felt like I was at the old school church, the new school church. I mean, it was just everything. I have to commend you all for doing what you did. And I was sharing with people who have their thoughts and their opinions about politics and all kinds of stuff like that. And I said, listen, that's not what that was about. That was about lifting up the name of Jesus. And I was just like blown away by that. And so how do you deal with that? As far as, do you hear a lot of folks who make their comments and everything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when we first, so back when they first started in January, it was only a small group of about 20, 25 to 40 singers. And so the group progressively got larger as the first couple of months went on, and they were going literally every single Sunday. And so, of course, at first people thought, okay, well, maybe he's just working on a new album or something like that. And then this became like an every week thing, to the point where by Coachella, people knew, okay, this is bigger than just an album. This is something that he's passionate about, And of course, you have your naysayers who are like, okay, let's see how long this lasts. Oh, he's just trying to do this just to get back in good graces of, the culture and all this other stuff. But again, as we've gone on, people have been able to now attend the different events that we've put on. We've been able to travel to different cities, and we've performed and sung and worshiped in all of these different venues. It hasn't just been churches. It's been amphitheaters, it's been arenas, it's been parking lots.
Yeah.
But it's always been the same central goal of, singing about God in an unconventional way, and trying to reach as many people as we can and who will listen.
Yeah.
And we knew early on, especially those of us who were joining the group as they were already kind of, doing their thing, we knew that this could be something that people are going to talk about and have backlash about. But that comes also with the territory of working in the industry. ask anybody who's been a background singer. You're working for that artist. If that artist goes through some sort of controversy, you know, are you going to get online and try to get into an argument with all of these different people who are just trolling, trying to get attention?
Mhm.
No, you're there to do what it is that you're supposed to do.
Right.
You're supposed to stay focused on that particular goal.
Right.
And so in this case, our particular goal again is to get people to, especially people who wouldn't necessarily come to church, who wouldn't step inside the four walls of a church. Our goal is to bring a piece of that experience to them in the hopes that it will cause them to have an open mind, embrace having a relationship with God, and say, you know what, hey, I like what they're doing.
Yeah.
What they're
Yeah.
doing is, you don't see it often, you don't hear about it nearly as often, but I like what they're doing. And so yeah, we don't really pay attention too much to the commentary at this point. I know early on I had a couple people that I knew personally that were saying some things that I just did not care for, to the point where it was just like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to necessarily block you, but I am going to unfollow you just because, you're being more negative about the situation than we
Yeah.
are. And
Yeah.
it's crazy that, it can be people who are coming from the church. It's like, okay, but you supposed to be, representing the same God we're representing. So
Yeah.
why are you, spitting and spewing all this venom out and being so nasty and so evil? So it's just like, just kind of had to tune some people out
Right.
and just stay focused and keep doing what we do. And at this point, it's a thing of, if you haven't been to a Sunday service, you can't necessarily fully speak on it. It's one thing to see a 1-minute clip on Instagram or the Shade Room, and of course the Shade Room is probably the one main media platform that has given us the most exposure outside of course, live streaming and people coming to see it themselves. But it's one thing to see a 1-minute clip on social media. It's another thing to watch a full taping on YouTube, but it's another thing to actually come to an event and experience it for yourself.
Right.
And not once have anybody that I've invited, or anybody that any of us have invited, not once have we had an experience of someone coming to see a Sunday service experience and leaving feeling the exact same. Every single time we always hear, man, I didn't know what to expect, or man, I thought it was going to be this, or, man, I wasn't really messing with him like that at first, but man, I totally support now. People understand once they come and see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that I will say this, that was this year, right? Wasn't that this year that was in Houston earlier this year?
Last year.
Last year. It was okay.
Yeah.
Last year. Okay. So one of the things about that, when I was approaching it, when I was coming to it, it was, again, I didn't have any particular viewpoints and everything, and coming with some negative mindset. I wanted to support you, of course. I'm like, I'm there to support you. So I went in with an open mind of, I just want to support Jeronelle. And when I got there and I saw the array of people that were in that auditorium, sanctuary auditorium, that was just, it was just something that just hit me. I looked around there and I said, this is the church. This is what every pastor wishes he had. Every pastor wishes he had. I mean, I was sitting next to a Caucasian young lady, and there was a African-American young man around. I mean, it was just a variety of people all around me. We didn't know each other. And they're hitting me and praising, and we just get into it. I'm like, wait, but don't hit too much now. But I'm like, yeah, we're just having a good time praising the Lord. And I'm like, this is church.
Yeah.
We don't know each other, but we were there for a common reason. Now some were there just to see Kanye, but it was over the course of the night, you could see that it was hitting them differently. So I was just thoroughly impressed. And any of the negativity, any of that, for me, any of the things that people had said and tried to put into my head when they heard that I was going, it just all went out the window. It went out the window. And I think the key thing is to be able to separate things that don't matter, or things that are surface level things, or things that are someone's opinion and thoughts, and separate that from the gospel of Jesus Christ. The gospel was going forth. I saw it. I heard it. I witnessed it. I was good. And that makes me think about some other things, even in just entertainment in general. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you. I know so many young people, young adults who want to go into entertainment, or who are in the entertainment field, and they're unable, so they're having difficulty separating things. That it's all just kind of a mix of my beliefs and then what I'm being told to do, and then what this is, and it's all kind of difficult for them to be able to separate that. How do you do that? How do you deal with separating, your beliefs from the politics of things, from the social expectation that may be upon you? That's a whole nother discussion that we could have. How do you do all of that in doing and pursuing your dreams, pursuing your goals? How do you compartmentalize and separate things and stay on track and not get consumed by just a bunch of different things being thrown at you?
Well, I think that you just said it. Stay on track, staying focused, remembering at the end of the day what your goals are, and realizing that there can be more than one route to getting to a certain goal. Just because people make it seem like, oh, you have to go this lane in order to get to what it is that you're trying to get to. I think we've seen time and time again, with the power of the internet and all of these different people that have become famous because of just a 5-second clip of them singing or showing whatever talent they do, and now they're living their dream. They didn't have to go the normal route of being told no and no and no and no and no and no again. So yeah, staying focused, staying encouraged, staying uplifted, staying grounded, knowing that at the end of the day, God is he is whatever you need him to be. He is a protector. He is a provider. I know firsthand about the provision part, because living in LA is expensive. And I have had to move several times over the course of 4 years, partially due to expenses or lack thereof.
Okay.
But every single time I found myself in a new living situation, whether I was roommating, crashing on a friend's couch, or now I have my own apartment, every single time I moved from place to place, I had everything that I needed. Kind of how the hymn, Great is Thy Faithfulness, all that I need, your hands have provided. Like literally everything I need. Even now with the place I live, if I need a barbershop, all I got to do is walk around the corner, down the street. If I need to, get to church, I could just hop on the highway. If I need to go to the grocery store, there are several within walking distance. I don't even need a car. Now, would I love to have a car? Yes, because there are some places that are still just way too far and way too much trying to Uber to. But yeah, like knowing that at the end of the day, if God gives you a dream, he's going to make sure that it comes to pass. So just stay focused, stay encouraged, and stay humble, and continue to do what it is that you need to do, so that way when the door of opportunity opens, you can just walk right through and not have to worry about, am I prepared, all of that. You can just walk right through the door and keep it pushing.
That's good. Let me ask you this, and you don't have to share anything in the details, anything, but being out there in LA and being in the entertainment field and everything like that, what is the, and this may seem like a silly question, but what is the real level of temptation? What is the real level of I was out
um,
there visiting my daughter, and I was just like, okay, this is a different kind of place. This it's a little different.
yeah, LA.
What is the real deal? What is the, I mean,
LA's a different place. Um, I think it just kind of matters who you surround yourself with.
Mhm.
Um, and of course, obviously, if you go looking for temptation, well, then it's going to find you.
Right.
But yeah, it kind of matters who you're surrounding yourself with because I'm notorious for kind of keeping to myself,
Okay.
not really. And that goes back to childhood, like being an only child. I'm used to not having a whole lot of people my age around me. Um, let's see. Yeah, I'm used to that, but it depends on, like I said, who you surround yourself with. Because I've seen people who come out here and they have all the potential in the world, but they surround themselves with people who don't really have a plan, don't really know what they want to do. They just want to come out here and flex and floss and look like they got it, as opposed to trying to work to actually have it, whatever it may be. And so then they end up falling flat and either end up having to go back home or having to struggle a lot more than they should because they got distracted, and again they didn't surround themselves with the right people.
Yeah. What about your preparation for where you are now? I know that's a question that just came to my mind when you were talking. Your preparation for where you are now. You went to Clark, you said.
Hmm.
Okay. And there, what was your major there?
My major was vocal studies. Got my bachelor's in music, concentration in vocal studies. Music was the only reason I actually went to college because I wasn't originally planning on going. But mom wasn't having that. She was like, no, you're going for at least 1 year.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
after that, you can figure out what you want to do. So I was like, if I'm going to go to college, it's going to be for music. And I could have gone to other schools, especially in that area.
Mhm.
But for me, it just felt like, okay, this is the place creatively where I feel like I can be me. I can, I can grow and I can make friendships that feel authentic, not
Okay.
forced or not feel like I'm being molded into a certain type of student. I can just be
Mhm.
me. And so, yeah, I went with an open heart and an open mind. It was like, okay, we're going to make the best of this experience. And 1 year turned into two. Well, yeah, 1 year turned into two, turned into three, turned into four. But a lot of that was because they gave us the speech they give to pretty much all colleges, which was that look to your left, look to your right. The person that you're sitting next to may not be here in four
Oh
years.
yeah, I know that speech.
And I kind of I kind of took it away. I was like, okay, well, all right, I don't necessarily want to be looked at as a loser, quote unquote.
Uh,
And then our department, um, the department chair, she really drilled it into our head about, how difficult it is to be a music major and how typically most music majors may or may not graduate in 4 years. They may have to take an extra semester or an extra year, and especially music majors within our school, a lot of them had kind of a track record or a history of having to take classes over again because they got distracted, just had different life situations going on. And so I kind of was like, you know what? I don't really like this narrative that you are pushing on us
mm,
that we're not going to get out of here in 4 years. Like, no, I worked hard to get here. I don't again, I didn't necessarily foresee myself going to college at first, but it was like, well, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to put in that work to make sure that I'm successful while I'm here.
yeah.
And sure enough, I got out of there in 4 years with top Latin honors. Um, I had, a gang of honor cords wrapped around my neck. And I was like, listen, this experience was expensive. and it was very trying at times, but it was worth it. It was very much worth it, and I'm so glad that I went, because I feel like it was definitely in a crucial part of my voice development. Shout out to my voice coach, director, teacher at that time, Dr. Adams,
Mhm.
because he was like one of those hardcore basses. Like, he would just anytime he sang a solo, or would give us an example of what we should sound like, it was like his voice kind of had a way of shaking the room. And
Wow.
so it's like, yeah, that kind of tone is one that cuts through. It's undeniable. And he trained us well to have the kind of tone, the kind of voice, the kind of feeling and texture that, again, is able to blend, but still able to cut through when it comes time to shine on and stand on your own.
Wow. So
Yeah.
what you just described probably is what I was making reference to before. When people say about you, they say, what is it about his voice? It's something about his voice. And what you just described is probably, I mean, it sounds like that's exactly it. It's just something about the
Hmm.
way that you sound. And so, but you attain that type of valuable resource in school. When you said that you weren't looking to go to school, what were you looking to do?
Hmm.
Were you looking to just jump into the entertainment business?
Yeah, I was for whatever reason, I was just like, listen, I'm gonna become a singer right away, right after high school. I think part of it was because because I was kind of over it after high school.
Mm.
Um, not to get too much into my upbringing, but I was one of those kids that was always kind of picked on, bullied, outcast, whatever.
Mm.
And by the time I got through with high school, I was just like, okay, I'm tired of y'all thinking that y'all know me, and thinking that you can just make all these jokes and all that. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna become the biggest thing in entertainment, and I'm just real
Yeah.
angry. And so I was just like, no, I'm just gonna go straight into music. I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna show each and every one of y'all. And like I said, mom was just like, yeah, that's nice. No, you're going to college for at least 1 year, at least to get some sort of formal education, either that or you're going into the military. And for me, I knew that the military was
You made the right
not an
choice.
option.
Not a knock on the
Yeah, no,
military,
no.
but you made the right choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Much respect to those who are, either have served or are serving. But
Yeah.
I knew for me, it was just like, that ain't gonna work, because it's already enough for me dealing with mom and her telling me what to do. So another grown man telling me what to do is like, especially at that age, it was like, no.
Right.
So yeah, I just went on to college and walked into it with a fairly high amount of scholarship money too. So I think from the get-go, it was kind of just set up like, nah, college is going to be the move for the next 4 years.
That's good. It's good. Well, I think that the importance of it, one of the aspects of it that I was focusing in on is the preparation. There are many people who think that they can just jump into it. They think that
Hmm.
they are able to write a little, they're able to draw a little, whatever the case may be, and they think that they can just jump into it. But there's so much competition, number one, but there's something about being able to get the discipline to be able to
Hmm.
hone your craft, to be able to sharpen your axe, and Bible talks about that. So it's important to make sure that you do that. There are some exceptions. I mean, there are people maybe who can make a leap directly like that, but
Hmm.
that's so rare nowadays. And so I just think that it's important to hear that you did get prepared. You were prepared for certain things,
Yeah.
and I think that gives you a certain edge.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't want our young people, our young adults, to dismiss the value of that. I know this is a different
Hmm.
type of generation where there's influencers and people making millions of dollars off of just being on social media, things like that. But there's such
Yeah.
a value in the discipline of honing your craft. And so I
Yeah.
respect you, I appreciate you on that. Just a couple more things. So what advice, just thinking about that, what advice would you give to a young adult, to a young person who is looking to get into entertainment, whether it's music or
Mhm.
acting? Which, by the way, I want to ask you: are you doing some acting? I want to make sure I ask you that.
I want to. I haven't. I guess because I've been so focused on music for the the last time I did any acting, I want to say it was probably serious acting anyway. It was uh my senior year. Uh I played the role of Rudolph, the head waiter from the musical Hello Dolly. That was fun.
All right.
um yeah, because he was supposed to have a German accent, but I didn't know German at the time, so I was just like, can he just like have a really bad attitude? Played that role very well.
Wow.
But I would say for those who want to get into the industry, I'll speak from the perspective of being a singer. Um, whether that's wanting to be a solo artist or being, on the background singing end, be flexible, be prepared. This industry is always changing. They're always coming up with something new, some new social media platform, some new avenue. Even now with this whole Corona thing, TikTok is like the wave now. Now there are some of us like me who just are like, nah, I don't need to be on every single social media platform, as opposed to just making good use of the ones that I do have and maximizing the viewership and the attention that I get from the platforms that I'm on. But yeah, being flexible, being humble, being responsible, being prepared, being on time. Um, yeah, okay, so we'll break it down by background singing work first. Being prepared, being on time, knowing your music. Um, let's see, talk about being flexible. Yeah, I would say those are just some of the
That's good.
basics. Knowing the music, being able to blend. Nobody wants a background singer that is going to purposefully stick out. Now you
Mm.
need to be able to
Wait,
be able
wait,
to
wait,
blend.
wait. Hold on. Now, what do you mean by that? Talk to me about that.
Because a lot of background singers nowadays, honestly, they're not doing it how they were in the 90s, where
Okay.
everybody was just singing just to be singing. Like, a lot of them now are using stems, they're using tracks.
Hmm.
And so whoever they have singing or hired as the background singers, they are singing alongside those tracks.
Okay.
So if you're not able to blend with, what's playing through either the DJ system or the music director's audio setup, if you're not able to blend with that, chances are you're not going to be a good fit for that job.
Mm.
In addition to whatever else it is that the artist may be looking for. It may be a certain look that they're looking for. It may be, can you dance? Are you able to improvise? If they hand you the mic to sing, a duet, are you able to, have that stage presence and hold your own? And of course, are you able to keep that adage of, what happens within this camp should stay in this camp? Are you able to keep your mouth shut? Are you gonna go telling everybody, oh well, this is going on, this, like, simple
Yeah,
stuff.
that's good. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would say on the artist end, even now, it's a little hard to say because I'm still figuring out some stuff myself. To be completely honest, I was actually on Spotify earlier this morning watching some of their uh, kind of TED Talk style videos,
Okay.
just trying to get some ideas going for this next project that I'm rolling out. But have something about you that stands out. Being, you still want to be relatable and be authentic. People can sniff a fraud from a mile away, and they're less likely to pay attention to you, or they'll pay attention to you for a period of time and then eventually they'll move on to somebody else.
Wow.
So find that thing about you that, you know is going to make people not only gravitate toward you but want to stick around. So for me, I know that, it's the type of songs that I sing, it's the voice, um, and it's the, I guess that you could say there's a little bit of mystery there that I try to keep. I'm not on social media 24 hours a day, there are some parts of me that I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna not post that on social media
Yeah.
when I go to the club, or if I'm hanging out with so and so. Like, there are some parts of me that I'm just like, yeah, I'm all right. So there's a little bit of mystery there, but yeah, have something about you that sets yourself apart. Um,
So
have a good,
you don't have to, it's not that a person has to go to the other end, because I know that there are some people who think that they have to go to the other end and almost have to become the
yeah,
party animal, life of the party, loud,
yeah,
extroverted, this and that. I mean, they
yeah.
feel like that's what they have to become.
And I mean, for some people, that has proven to be successful. I won't necessarily mention any specific artist, but there are examples of artists out there who were doing one thing and it wasn't working for them, so they had to go and reinvent themselves and adopt this whole new persona and these outlandish costumes, or disguising their appearance, or you know they may not have been as accessible as they once were when they were whoever they were originally. So they had to adopt that new persona, and it worked. But that's not necessarily the case for everybody. And a
Yeah,
lot of times, again, as an indie artist, what I'm seeing is people gravitating more towards people who are you know, just being real, being vulnerable, being themselves.
that's good. That's good. I respect that. I mean, I think that's a great thing. I mean,
Yeah,
who wants to have to try to pretend and be something that you're not?
yeah,
Unless acting, or doing
yeah.
something like that. But man, I don't want us to go any further without you talking about your experience on the four.
Yeah.
Please tell us about. So you competed on the four and you
Yep.
danced with Diddy. Tell us,
Hmm.
how did that experience go?
So I always have to tell kind of the background story, because the story that they portrayed on TV wasn't fully accurate.
Oh, so you
um,
mean a TV, that how things go on TV? What we watch is not exactly how it
it
happened.
it was a abbreviated version. I'll put it
Oh,
like that. That
oh,
there were parts that they definitely got correct, but it was an abbreviated version. So season one, I had actually submitted my information and a video audition. Didn't hear back, didn't pan out. So I kind of moved on. By that point, I had already auditioned for literally every major show that has ever been out: America's Got Talent, American Idol, The Voice, Sunday Best, you know, all of these other different shows. And I had just grown tired of auditioning for that lane. I was just like, okay, at this point, I'll just do the local circuit and work my way up from there. And so season two rolls around, or casting for season two, and I was at a friend's party, and one of the casting producers showed up and said, "Hey, I heard you singing. You're amazing. I think you should try out." Long story short, he kind of walked me through the audition process and some of the things that I should be considering as far as song selection, and parts of my story that I should be open to telling that may attract not only the casting producers but an audience of some sort. And so for me, that was the whole point of me studying music and uh, coming out to LA and struggling to get my foot through the door, so to speak.
right.
So see, they start filming season two, and I end up in a transition house, which is a step just above a homeless shelter, because of a roommate situation that went horribly bad. And I ended up in the transition house. Worst experience probably of my life. It was just like, okay, it was like one of those moments where you find yourself looking around like, how did I get here? And
Wow.
so
Wow.
I had adopted this hustle of paid seat filling, which is basically like how they do a lot of talk shows, game
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
They'll,
And
just
they don't want to
come sit,
see. Yeah.
yeah, come sit, laugh, clap, look dressed, look nice, and we'll pay you 50 to $100 at the end of the show, either cash or check. And so the Four was one of the shows that was taping. And so I was like, well, cool. Well, I've auditioned. I've been in front of the casting producers at this point. I would like to make some money, and it'll give me a chance to maybe low key see how the show works from the audience point of view, or at least experience it. Now, I didn't know that one of my friends from college was going to be performing or auditioning that same episode. So of course, when he gets on stage, I'm cheering and, I'm going crazy trying to show him support. Cameraman zooms in on me. The casting producers see that footage and they're like, hey, we saw you in a recent episode. Now we want to officially bring you on board.
Wow.
And we're going to tell this story of you were studying music and now you were studying before, and that's your ticket to trying to get on the show. And so it's just like, sure, we'll go with that, whatever. And next thing you know, I'm on stage, nervous as all get out, but the energy in that room and the adrenaline that I was feeling was like none other. And so I'm singing and the judges are deliberating, and then I go up against the other contestant, and it comes down to the two of us. They pick me. I get to be that one of the members of the four for that week. So then the following week rolls around. They do what they call the callbacks, where they bring some of the previous contestants back. And I pretty much kind of had a feeling at that point I was going to go up against who I ended up going up against. I just had that feeling because some of the vocal choices that he was making in his previous performances, I was like, oh, okay. He knows how to navigate a song. And also I do kind of feel like they gave him some easier song choices. Like they just gave him ballad after ballad after mid-tempo ballad every week. And it was like, y'all keep giving him these songs that he can easily ace. Wow. So, yeah, so long story short, he won after battling me. And by that point, I was okay with losing. It was just, again, all of that energy, all of that adrenaline took over. And so as I'm saying my goodbye speech, I start crying. I'm glad they edited out most of that because I was just like, I'm really crying in front of all of these people. And I was just like, okay, you know what? In my mind, I was like, before I go, I need to do something that's going to not only make them remember me, but also that will not make me seem like just another sad, defeated reality TV show contestant. And so I was like, yo, Diddy, before we leave, can we just do like a quick little 15-second dance break or something? And he got up there. He was willing to do it. I'm glad that he did because I was a little nervous. Like he'd just be like, no, get off the stage. But he was like, yeah, sure. And so we had that moment, and I got to leave with a smile on my face.
That was good. Yeah.
That was that.
Well, I mean, from what I saw, what I witnessed and watching it, I mean, it was a really positive, high energy. You represented yourself extremely well. And I almost threw a shoe at the television, like, what? When they made the selection, because it to me it wasn't even close. But hey, but it's pretty remarkable what you said. So you were cheering someone else on, and the camera caught you.
Yeah, like the camera guy, because we were in the little pit area, and the camera guy was going around, and there was one point in the song where I was really just cheering him on because he was doing his thing, and the camera guy just stayed on me for a second. I was just like, okay, well, hey, if somebody sees it and I get I get somebody shouting me out, hey, I saw you on TV, I'll be like, yeah. I actually was kind of nervous, to be completely honest, that the producers were going to see that and disqualify me from being able to be on the show. But it worked out because they actually liked that. They felt like it gave me an advantage. And so I was like, okay, we'll go with it.
Man, that's almost usable as an illustration or something. You were celebrating your friend, promoting your friend, and you were noticed and allowed to be able to compete. That's pretty awesome to even think about that. But I think, again, you did an incredible job. You did this woman's work on that, didn't you? Oh my gosh, man. You
Everybody's favorite song.
oh my goodness. Yeah, you did a fantastic job. So I don't know what was wrong with Diddy and them, and that's why when you're saying that it was kind of almost scripted, it felt like it was scripted that they chose them. It
I
felt
won't say.
Wait a minute, that don't even. But anyway, but of course I'm biased.
I won't say it was scripted, but when you have watched these shows as long as I've been watching, like I've been watching American Idol and The Voice since they first started, you kind of pick up on the way things move. And between the energy in the crowd when he would get on stage, he had been on the show for weeks prior, so he had already developed a fan base. So they came to see him and some of the other contestants. So of course they fell in love with him, and he's also been on other shows before. And so he's had a chance to already kind of develop that fan base. He just hadn't necessarily developed it over here in America. But I mean, it was just like, yep, I'm probably going to eat. I thought it was going to come down to either him or one of the other young ladies. And when it came down to us, I was like, okay, if I lose, I'm going down swinging. This ain't going to be like them other contestants that you beat in weeks prior, where you just kind of ran them over. No, you're going to have to fight if you want this chair, because I'm bringing everything I got.
You did a fantastic job. That was probably the most memorable part of the show. I mean, is Diddy getting up dancing with one of the contestants? So that was really good, man. Very, very proud of you. I was telling everyone to watch. Like, everybody, turn on your TV right now. But man, you've just been a tremendous blessing answering these questions. I think that you are a phenomenal example of again, persistence and pursuing your dreams. And I really, really, really look forward to when everything hits, everything lines up, because I think you are a tremendous talent. And I just hope to see that the world will truly, truly see what you have to offer.
Actually, what's crazy, so this song just popped in my head. I'm trying to think, where should I start? Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying, but if you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Oh, there are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me.
What a great testimony. What a great young man. We had opportunity to meet Jeronelle Mcghee. What a great young man. We wish him all the best. And we thank you for tuning in today at Church Unfiltered. And listen, I want to encourage you, if you have not already subscribed, make sure you do that right now. Subscribe so you do not miss another episode, or you don't miss any episodes of Church Unfiltered. On next week, we're going to get back to specifically talking to pastors, ministry leaders, and we're going to talk about how to use Facebook properly, Now listen, I'm not going to be the one that tells you how to do it. Guess what? I called up my friend, Miss Nona Jones, who is the Global Faith Initiative director there at Facebook. So I went to the horse's mouth, if you will, and she is going to be our guest on next week. So we encourage you to tune in on next week. Make sure you tell somebody about it, share with your friends, make sure you subscribe. And again, thank you for being here with us for Church Unfiltered.